We have breaking news here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report as the Chiefs are bringing back Trey Smith. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. The Chiefs are placing the franchise tag on offensive guard Trey Smith, giving him a one-year, $23.4 million deal, fully guaranteed to make his return to Kansas City in 2025. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us here on today's show. The news coming out just within this hour. Let's start with Ian Rappaport, the NFL Network, who said this. The Chiefs are planning to franchise tag star guard Trey Smith, sources say. An intriguing move as KC keeps one of its best players for $23.4 million on a one-year fully guaranteed deal. And Ian Rappaport, his coffee buddy, Jordan Schultz, put this out, beating him to the punch by exactly 1 minute. Did he beat him up at the Starbucks, though? That remains to be seen. If you know, you know. Schultz saying this, breaking the Chiefs will be placing the franchise tag on Pro Bowl guard Trey Smith, sources told the NFL on Fox. The goal is still to work out a long-term deal, but for now, the tag ensures he stays in Kansas City. Negotiations will continue. Folks, this is big for Kansas City to keep arguably the best offensive guard in all of football locked in here with this Kansas City Chiefs team that just a few weeks ago, the reports indicated they thought they were going to lose Trey Smith and they weren't going to be able to have the financial resources to get something done. And then, what do you know? Brett Veach does it again, folks. Where there's a Veach, there's a way. He always finds some magic of sorts to make this work. And when we heard from Brett Veach earlier this week talking about Trey Smith, and we'll play that for you coming up later in case you missed it, he was very confident, very optimistic that something would get done. And that was a totally different tone from what we had heard previously. And the reason why this has changed is because the tag price lower than we expected, on top of the salary cap taking that significant step up from what we thought was going to happen, with the NFL giving that number out to teams last week that was going from the $252 million range up to $277 to $281, and you can ballpark that, let's say halfway, $279 potentially. That was a big relief for the Kansas City Chiefs. And what did we tell you here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report last week when that news came out? We were the very first ones on this show to say that puts Trey Smith back in play. We were ahead of things. We told you this now created an opening to bring in Trey Smith. And then with the tag price being a little lower than we expected to, that ended up working out the perfect storm for Kansas City to get this done. It's unusual for guards to get tagged. But with this being 23 compared to what the projected number was even just last week of about $26 million, then it could work for Kansas City. And point blank, this is the right move for the Kansas City Chiefs to do. Even though we don't typically see this happening, they know what they're doing. I love it. We're going to talk more about it here in just a moment. We're going to let you hear from Brett Veach. We're going to go over some numbers, and there's still plenty more ahead. This is just the beginning of this process with Trey Smith in Kansas City, as now we got to figure out a long-term contract next. What is your one-word reaction? I'll give you my one-word reaction in just a moment, but want to hear from you guys first. Weigh in the comments section. Give me that one-word reaction. Let us know what it is. Folks, this is why you subscribe to the Kansas City Chiefs Report. I'll be honest. I've been sitting at my desk all day waiting for some breaking news on a list to be revealed. And at the time of this recording, that hasn't happened yet. I wasn't anticipating this breaking news happening today. But you know what happened? Me and my buddy Brett Alpert, we got our resources together as fast as possible to bring you this reaction video to the news of Trey Smith returning to Kansas City, because we're built different around here. We are your one-stop shop for all things Kansas City Chiefs. Anytime there's news that breaks, whether we're in the office, whether I'm at home on my couch, I could be asleep. Hell, I'm going on a little trip to Austin this weekend. Something happens, we'll be ready to go. Stay alert. Stay tuned. The offseason is just beginning, folks. Let's get at least 50 subs off today's video. You ain't alive if you ain't subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Sub for more dubs this season. Folks, this is a reason to celebrate. Celebrate with a subscription to the Chiefs Report. You'll be glad you did. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. My one-word reaction. I am thrilled by this news that everything worked out. All the stars aligned for this deal of getting a player in his prime, right? Just really beginning his prime. Of the franchise tag going down, being cheaper than we anticipated. On top of the salary cap, having more financial flexibility. It all worked out just in perfect form. And as I say, I've said this before and I'll say it again, where there's a Veach, there's a way. This man is a magician, all right? I mean, he's got some magic dust, some powers to him. I just want a little bit of that. Can I get a little bit of that same vibe and energy? This man has done some incredible things. And when we looked at this offensive line of what went on last year, the difficulties at the left tackle spot, you didn't want to make the situation even worse, losing Trey Smith. Brett Veach knew that. Now he's got to fix the left tackle spot, but this is a huge step in the right direction. Here's Veach earlier this week talking about Trey Smith as he was very confident this was going to get done.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously at the top of the list, and we've already had some good dialogue with him and with CAA and Torrey and Jimmy and his crew. So obviously a lot to work through, but I mean, this is the time of the year to do that. And again, we've already had some initial dialogue, and that will continue on this week and in the days to come leading up before free agency. So we'll certainly do what we can and feel, pretty optimistic about our possibilities there.
Now, with that said, as the late Kobe Bryant once said, the job's not finished. There's plenty more ahead. Obviously, you got to figure out the left tackle situation, and then there's a couple of your own guys that you need to figure out what you're going to do when it comes to, like, Nick Bolton and Justin Reed and others here. But this is at least a very good start to the offseason for the Kansas City Chiefs. With that said, what's it look like to keep Trey Smith around? Because you want to take care of this pretty quickly if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. Because if, let's say, you let him play on the franchise tag and then you renegotiate next year, and obviously in theory you could tag him again, but the price tag should go up. The quicker you pay him and get a deal done, then you can save money as far as that goes. Pro Football Focus projecting him to get about a 4-year, $86 million deal with $52.5 million guaranteed. The Chiefs, their preference is a 5-year deal for Trey Smith. That was according to reports earlier this week, and to be about 5 years with at least $50 million guaranteed is what the Chiefs are looking at for a deal for Trey Smith there to get something done. And they're not having to compete with anybody else now. Now this is a negotiation between Trey Smith and the Chiefs. It's not a negotiation with everybody else here. And I think that certainly works to the advantage of the Kansas City Chiefs in getting this deal taken care of. Brett Veach, doing it again. Best GM in the NFL, right? That's my guy. I'm rolling with Brett Veach. Are you rolling with Brett Veach? Let us know. Y for yes, N for no. Is he the best GM in football? Chime in. Let us know. Chiefs hats are on sale now for up to 50% off. Chatsports.com/Chiefs hats. We have the bowl cap style. We have the flat bill version. You can go see for yourself at chatsports.com/Chiefs hats to get yours today. And we have plenty to choose from. Not just the ones you're seeing on your screen, but plenty others. And we have all sorts of Chiefs merchandise at that same link. Chatsports.com/Chiefs hats. To get yours today. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/Chiefs hats. More on Trey Smith here, and what a start to his career already. The interior of the offensive line is just phenomenal with Joe Toney, Creed Humphrey, the best center in football, and then Trey Smith there, and Jawan Taylor, of course, at the right tackle spot. Get that left tackle situation figured out, and you can have a pretty good group here. His numbers for his breakout season as a Pro Bowler last year, offensive grade, really good, 78.8. Pass block grade, 70.6. Run block grade was his best grade of all, of an 80.8 overall. And, the best availability is availability, and he's only missed one game in his first 4 seasons in the NFL. And this is coming from the same guy that had blood clot issues at Tennessee that forced him to drop to the 6th round of the draft. So a guy that you can depend on, that can protect Patrick Mahomes. Say what you want about paying receivers and running backs and all that. Your number one job when it comes to assembling this offense is making sure Patrick Mahomes is taken care of. Taking care of his hog mollies up front. And that's what you're doing in keeping Trey Smith. He's only allowed 1 sack since 2024. Patrick better be buying him quite a bit of steak dinners with that type of protection. You always need protection, So now that this is all taken care of, get the deal done. Brett Veach, and I have every reason to think that they're going to get this figured out, that they are going to get that long-term contract taken care of, 4 or 5 years, whatever it may be. Everything's lining up accordingly. But this is a huge step in the right direction. And what a day. We heard Pat McAfee say earlier today from a source says, very good there, Alper, that Travis Kelce is returning to the Kansas City Chiefs. We heard Brett Veach pretty much say that earlier in the week, but now we heard it from source says, confirming as such. So what a day, Chiefs fans. Appreciate you joining us. Subscribe now for continuing Chiefs coverage. It's been a fun week. Offseason just getting started. We got you covered right here on the Chiefs Report. We'll see you next time.